Good morning, students. I am Dr. Abhiman, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Chhatrapati Shivaji College, Satara. Today we are going to the presentation of Geographical Cycle of Erosion put forward by W.M.Davis, William Morris Davies. Before these discussions, one thing is very important to all of you know. The geography has been divided mainly two branches, physical geography and human geography, and all of you know that there are several branches of physical geography like climatology, geomorphology and biogeography, oceanography, etc. and variety of sub branches of human geography, such type of social geography and economic geography. But today's lecture is related with the sub branch of physical geography, which is geomorphology. Geomorphology is the analysis and description or sequential explanations in different forms of the landforms, and landform is the heart of the geomorphology. There are different scientists and geomorphologists put forward or he's contributed in the geomorphology. Among these, American school is very important. William Morris Davis, W.M. Davis, is the father of geomorphology because his contribution in the different aspect of geomorphology is very significant. Therefore, we introduce or focus today's lectures on geographical cycle of erosion postulated by W.M. Davis. As far as concerning to these slides, geographical cycle of erosion, W.M. Davis. This W.M. Davis, born February 12, 1850 in Philadelphia, graduated from Howard University 1869, and he was the instructor of geology at Howard 1879, never finished his PhD. In addition to work on physical geography, Davis was very involved in educational theory and professional association, founded the Association of American Geographers in the year 1904, and he died February 5, 1934. Concerning to this W.M. Davis cycle of erosion, the concept of erosion is significant because of erosions is that process in which various erosive agents, in the previous lectures all students, all of you know that there are different agents of denudation chronology, like the river is the one agent of denudation, then glaciers, karst topography and wind, all these are the different agents of denudational chronology, specifically erosions. So what is erosion? Erosion and deposition is two processes of each and every denudational agents. While touching the cross section of this erosion, at that time that is very important to study the river, that means running water, wind, glacier, sea wave and underground waters. Obtain and remove rock debris from the earth crust and transport them for a long distance. Here one thing that's important in this concerning to earth crust, erosions, removal and transportation of different debris from the earth surface. And another thing is important, whenever we give the cross section of this terminology erosions, erosion is a dynamic process, and apart from this process fully weathering is different process and erosion is a different process. What is the difference between among these? Erosion is a dynamic process and weathering is a static process. So how the erosion is a dynamic? See here, running waters, that means river is the dynamic elements, wind is also dynamic, glacier is also dynamic, sea waves, those are operated in the coastal areas. All these are the dynamic factors, and erosions oftenly occur due to these elements or agents of denudations. Running waters always work in the humid regions, and the action of wind is very dominant in the arid regions. Glacier is very dominant in polar area, and whenever we concerning to the sea waves associated with the different landforms, especially work of sea waves lies in the coastal area. Underground waters very imperatively works in the karst topography. So in this way, the erosion is a dynamic process. In another way, it can be said that erosion is sum total of ginnering, abrasion and transportation. Agent of erosion are those which participate in the erosional works, and mainly they are running water, underground water, ocean currents, wind, glacier and glacier, etc. These slide concerning to the basic concept such as erosion in the geographical cycle of erosion and cycle of erosions. At first, William Morris Davies advanced the idea of geomorphic cycle of erosion in 1899. So remember this. He postulated his geomorphic cycle of erosion in the year 1899. His major objective was to describe and explain the distinctiveness characteristics possessed by landforms. Distinctiveness or distinctives, that means different types of aspects of landforms. You know, in the previous semester first, what are the evolution process of landforms and how the developed landforms concerning to river or wind or glaciers. W.M.Davis described that all landscapes have definite life history after its emergences in this way through the different stages, and after a long time the elevated land mass become featureless and flat known as plain is called geographical cycle of erosions. Whenever we give the concept of this geographical cycle as the uplifted or the landmass goes through the different transformations to the peneplains. That means detailed explanation in this way. The geographic cycle is the period of time during which an uplifted landmass undergoes its transformation by the process of plant sculpture ending in low featureless plain. So in this complete definition of geographical cycle, two words are very important: uplifted landmass and plain. That means peneplain, featureless peneplain. Uplifted landmass goes different transformation processes up to the featureless plain. Uplifted landmass and featureless plains. Changes may be occur in the sequential in the development of landforms. Especially this cycle of erosion is fully based upon the river, that means running waters, and running waters always work in the humid regions. Davies has described the landscape as the function of structure, process and stage. That means that in a landscape all these three play dominant roles. While we consider this fundamental concept of geomorphology, that means every landscape is the function of structure, process and stage. Three words are important: structure, second processes and third stage, that means time. Therefore, cycle of erosion is a time dependent model. Because of these three characteristics or three words is very important in the cycle of erosion: structure, process and stage. Landscape is the function of structure. So what is structure? What about the structure? In the cycle of erosion especially, structure is always related to the rock structure, types of rocks. That means harder rock, softer rock, joints in the rocks or faults in the rocks, different cracks. In this way, structure, the term is related to the rock. And then processes. Process is related to the different geomorphic processes. Geomorphic processes, there are weathering, erosion and mass wasting. All these concepts are in the processes. Processes, weathering is a one process, erosion is a one process and mass wasting is a processes. But concerning to the landform, especially in the cycle of erosion, erosion process is very important. Because each and every agent of denudations like river and wind act upon to erosion process and deposition process. These two processes originated the different landforms in respective to the river or wind. And last one, stage is important. Stage, that means time. Each and every landforms require some times. That means this type of situation not occur in the river. We say put a valley originated suddenly or waterfall is originated and developed suddenly. No, that requires some times. That is the stage. That means each and every landforms undergoes the stages. Especially when we talk about the river, at that time each and every river work upon three stages. Youth stage, number 2 mature stage and number 3 old stage. That means development of landforms in 3 stages in the sequentially. That means historical, chronological and explanatory approaches in the development of landform. This means that in a landscape all these 3 play dominant role, and these are the, that means landscape is the function of structure, process and stage is the fundamental concept in geomorphology. This fundamental concept of geomorphology is very important when we talk about the cycle of erosions. Hence, work of W.M.Davis is an very significant to develop the geomorphology. There are different school, French school, British school, American school, but approaches to develop W.M.Davis according to the development of landforms is very important. And there are different fundamental concepts. But especially in the cycle of erosion, landscape is the function of structure, process and stage. This concept is most significant. In these stages concerning to different types and different terminology. First of all, W.M.Davis pointed out that development of landform take place through the mainly 3 stages: youth stage, mature and old stage of river or the geomorphic cycle. Although some geomorphologists used him on this terminology of stage also, but after that it has great importance in geomorphology at this time. In this way, landscape can be explained on the basis of the structure, process and stage. If so many landmass having a structure and some processes with some intensity, then all these landforms evolved on all those landforms will be the sum in terms of time factors. And concerning to this, first of all, W.M.Davis, upliftment and erosion. Davies starts his geography with the uplift and landmass above the sea level, but according to him this will be the very small period because of this upliftment take place rapidly. So he assumes that there will not be any erosion in this case, and erosions will occur only after the completion of the upliftment. It is remarkable that Davies does not accept these approaches of upliftment and erosions. While we consider to this fundamental concept of this geomorphology, you know the structure, process and a stage. Then while detail about these structures, structure involves different kind of these terminology: rock characteristics, joints, faults, fracture, types of rock, either it is soft, hard rock, cracks and fold strata. In the development of process of landforms, structure of rock is very important. A role of rock, that means structure, rock structure in these distinct